Yes. Hey, I'm Denise. Amanda, very nice to meet you too.
Sure, yes. First of all, I've known Denise for over 20 years. I first knew her as a mom and kind of a very charismatic, active entrepreneur. She's always had some venture going on, and she was very successful at that. But we lost touch. We reconnected over the pandemic, and I knew she had done this film, and I knew she was becoming, important. But I had no idea what had happened since we had been together. And I did not know that she had become this, global phenom in the Latino community and preaching about Enyes, which you will learn all about. I didn't know she'd become a popular keynote speaker at Fortune 500 companies around the globe. I didn't know that she was just connecting with people in different ways. And so we started talking and we formed this partnership. And what she brings to us is really training and educating and teaching what she knows from a cultural perspective. So what does inclusiveness and belonging and diversity mean, and how do we connect with that better as marketers? So hopefully you will learn a lot today. She's kind of that mode that she's teaching us how to fish. She doesn't have all the answers, she has a lot of answers, but she's teaching us to come along with her, and that's what we love about her. So with that, I don't want to steal any of Denise's thunder because she does a great job telling her own story, but we are so happy to have her, and please jump in and she will let you know this is very interactive. So thank you all for coming.
The reality is there are some challenges, and these are the biggest ones that I've seen interacting with so many people. The first one is something that we all know and probably have heard, especially around the election. Latinos are not a monolith. Has anyone ever heard that before? Yes. So remember, when you think about Latinos, think, we want all people with brown hair. How do we do that? Can you imagine in the election if they were like, how do we get the people with blonde hair only? Like wouldn't that sound wacky? That's how marketing to Latinos sounds to Latinos. Latino, Latinx, Hispanic, Latin, the brand new Latin, the brand new Latin. When I was in New York, someone corrected me and said, it's pronounced Latine, which I was like, thank you, right? Because I don't get offended about this stuff anymore. I used to, but not anymore. And then necesitamos hablar español. Do we need to speak Spanish? Don't they speak Spanish? No, not all of them. So the overarching opportunity is to authentically communicate, because I know that that's what you care about. That's what everybody cares about. How do we speak to Latinos with dignity? How do we speak to human beings with dignity, right? Especially if we're in the business of storytelling. How do we make sure the person that I'm speaking to feels like I respect them, feels like I understand what's going on with them, feels like I can help them, bring value to them, right? Isn't that what we all want, like in general as human beings? And not just jobs, but if we can do it with our job, it's magnified and even more important, right? So how do we reach the Latino market? Here's the biggest secret. This is literally the keys to the kingdom. There is nothing bigger and more important than this. Understand their value system. It sounds so simple, right? It's so simple. There's a saying, it's too simple for complex minds. It's like a Beatles song, so beautiful, but mostly major chords. How in the world did they become so popular? Simple, and we're gonna learn it today. So my husband and I, the gringo, we're going to Puerto Rico, because that's where most of my family lives. And I hope no one here is offended by me calling him a gringo, right? That's not offensive. It's just a joke, it's a marital joke that has become a community joke. So we're packing. He's done, he comes into the room, and I have 2 suitcases. And if you know the answer, please don't blurt it out. Let's see who else might not know this. Did I put it? No, okay. One suitcase had all of my stuff, bathing suits, shorts, t-shirts, etc. And the other was filled to the brim with something else. Does anyone know what was in there? Any ideas? Juliana? Yes. Presents. Yes. So they were like,
want me to blurt it out?
No, but you were here. But you weren't here last time. That's okay. I'll pressure you to do something else today, okay? So yes, presents. So he's like, presents? How many presents are in there? I'm like, I don't know, like 50? 50? Who are you giving these to? How many people are you related to? I'm like, babe, there's my family, then there's the family that they moved in, or that they married, then their children, then the people that we kind of adopted because they're the neighbors and they moved away and they moved in with my family. And then there are all the people that I'm going to forget because I have so many family members. I literally forget how many people I'm related to. And so about 50. And then he's like, how much is this going to cost us at Christmas? And it was such a funny thing, but it actually, it showed me, it was our first ideological clash. I thought he was inconsiderate. He thought I was crazy. Does that make sense? This is a very simple example, but it was a clash of our ideologies. The important part of the story is I thought he was wrong, he thought I was wrong, and neither one of us were wrong. So understanding, this is under strategy number 1, understanding the collective value system is best understood when we understand that family is the number 1 most important thing for Latinos. There was one suitcase with my clothes, and the other suitcase had gifts. So self-reliance prioritizes who? Yourself. Self-reliance comes from Northern Europe. Self-reliance is a religious response, actually, to Catholicism. I'm not going to go there, but it literally was a rejection of the Catholic Church. And it put the individual at the center. So no judgment, it just is what it is. And self-reliance prioritizes the individual. This is a super important thing because do you think that the United States is more collective or more self-reliant, generally speaking? Yeah, awesome. That was like a pre-test and you guys all passed. Way to go. All right, so if my husband would have packed 2 suitcases, which he wouldn't because he just wouldn't do this, but it's not like in his character, the second suitcase would be for his souvenirs, okay? They would be for the stuff that he shopped for himself. This is not wrong or bad. I actually admire people that do this, right? If I did that, it would be considered wrong in the collective. That's wrong. It's not okay. Focus on yourself. Don't do that. So, who identified with the gringo? How expensive is this going to be? And who identified with me? The gringo. His name is Kevin. Who identified? Okay, cool. And then who identified with me? Everybody, presents for everybody. Okay, awesome.
I do both.
You do both?
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. I do both too, FYI. So here's something that's interesting. This is not just for Latinos. Collectivism prioritizes the group. Where else does this happen? It happens in Central America, it happens in Africa, it happens in Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean. So when you prioritize Latinos, you're prioritizing collectivism. When you prioritize collectivism, all these other groups come to the party too. So it's actually bonus people.